Hi students, let's find the relation between the histogram that you have studied before and frequency polygon that you are going to study now. Here you are given a table, a frequency table, and this table is not in a continuous form. That is, the first interval ends in 35 and the second interval starts with 36. There is a gap between this 35 and 36. The gap is equal to 36 minus 35, that's equal to 1. Therefore, for making this into a continuous form, we have to bridge this gap between these two numbers. That is, when we span that number, or in order to span this gap, we have to add the half of this difference with the 35 and subtract the half of the difference from 36. Then by doing so, we will get a continuous frequency table. That is, it starts with the 30.5 and ends in 35.5, and it starts with the same 35.5 and so on. Then in order to draw a histogram, certainly this class should be in this continuous form, because in the bars in histogram should not have any gap between them. Therefore, the end point of the first class should be the beginning of the second class. There should be any difference between these two numbers. Okay, then let us try to draw the histogram. For that, along this horizontal axis, let's mark this lower limit and upper limit of all these classes. That is, the least one is 30.5 and the maximum one is 75.5, and they are equally placed here, equidistant from one another. Then, and above, this is the first subinterval, and above this subinterval we have to draw or construct rectangles corresponding to the frequency of the corresponding classes. Therefore, the frequency of the first class is 9. Therefore, the bar should be of height 9. In the same way, the second frequency of the second class is 5. Therefore, the height of the second rectangle above the second interval is 5. In the same way, after constructing, this is a histogram, and after constructing this histogram, let us try to find out the relation with his frequency polygon. See here, right in the middle of this segment, we can have points here also, and on each and every on the top of each and every bars there will be a midpoint of the small segments, and let us activate those points. Those points are right above the class marks, that is the mid value of these intervals. If we add these two numbers and divide by 2, we will get a mid value or class mark of the intervals. Therefore, just let us mark those class values or class marks. Then these class marks, after marking this class mark, we can have this point right above that class mark and in the height of the frequencies, corresponding frequencies. Then by joining those points, we will get to the particular graph. By joining this point with these points, here we should have a point and here also we should have points, and those points are class marks of a class just before the first class and just after the last class, and or in one way, and the distance between the mid values, that is the distance between the mid value of the second class with the first class, should be maintained here also. And by joining these last points with the x-axis like this, we will get a polygon, and this is the polygon. We need not have this histogram later, therefore we can hide this histogram. And in order to get this frequency polygon, we have to write these mid values. We need not write these class limit points. Then just find the mid values. Mid values has to be marked here, and right above this mid values corresponding to the frequency, we should have points here, and by joining those points we will get a graph, and by joining the end points, the initial point and terminal point with the x-axis like this, we will get the frequency polygon. Once again, in order to draw the frequency polygon, this point is right above the class marks of each interval, and first of all we have to draw the class mark along this x-axis or the horizontal axis, and we should have a king here because the distance, this distance and this distance are not proportional. Therefore, and after finding these points, join those points by straight lines or segments, and at the end you have to join the end points, the initial and terminal points with the x-axis like this, then in order to get the frequency polygon. In order to draw the frequency polygon, we need not draw the histogram. This point is right above the mid value, therefore we can hide this one. Therefore, first of all, you have to draw these mid values or the class marks along this x-axis, and right above this class marks you can find the point here corresponding to the frequency of each class. And by joining those points, we can have a graph, and after that you have to join these points with the x-axis like this to get the frequency polygon. Thank you.